Now, let's get started on this crazy story of Gervonta "Tank" Davis versus Lamont Roach, a battle that was anything from ordinary for the Baltimore boxing sensation and his squad. Fans, commentators, and even the boxers themselves were left perplexed by this chaotic, contentious affair, which wasn't just another victory for Davis. Imagine this. In December 2024, a sold-out Barclays Center in Brooklyn was humming with excitement before 36 minutes of utterly unpredictable violence that culminated in a majority decision draw. Yes, nobody, not even Team Davis, saw that coming. What happened then? On paper, Roach wasn't supposed to be a threat, but Davis, the WBA lightweight champion who has a history of terminating bouts early, typically in the 7th, 8th, or 9th rounds, stepped into the ring against him. Roach, who had previously won a 130-pound title and was now moving up to lightweight, was well known from the amateur circuit, but the odds makers put him as a huge underdog versus Davis, about -1,600. Despite the anticipation, Team Davis appeared unfazed. During news briefings, they smiled, dismissed Roach's solid record, and handled the situation as if it were any other workday. However, Roach, he showed up for work. He boxed shrewdly from the outside from the first bell, throwing punches and holding Davis at bay. Roach didn't recoil as Tank pushed him inside. Instead, he traded blows as if he belonged there. When the last bell rang, the audience stood up in shock, not knowing who had won. The scores for Davis were 114-114, 114-114, and 116-112. A draw by majority. Davis left the ring without a certain victory for the first time in his professional career. At the judge's call, his crew, which included Barry Hunter, Calvin Ford, and the others, sat backstage in shock and shook their heads. "We take our hats off to the other side, but I thought down the stretch, the last 2 rounds sealed the deal," Hunter, who had grabbed the lead in the corner that evening, insisted. "I believed we succeeded." He believed Davis had won late after a close battle. Others, however, weren't so certain. After working out hard, former lightweight champion George Kambosos Jr., who has sparred with Davis online, told Fight Hype he's just had a draw and lost a lot of stock. Kambosos wasn't holding back as he prepared for his own fight on March 22, 2025, claiming that Davis's aura had suffered. Since this is where the story becomes interesting, let's now discuss the mayhem in Davis's corner. Tank's team is usually a well-oiled machine, but tonight? It was a circus. Later, Calvin Ford revealed that Davis was giving him orders and pressuring him to make a questionable move that caused chaos. Imagine this. Roach is holding his own and refusing to fold like Tank's typical opponents do as the battle drags into the latter rounds, which is uncharted ground for Davis. It didn't sit well with Davis, who had only ever made it through all 12 rounds twice. He refused to listen to his corner's attempts to guide him. He shouted at Ford, "Listen to me," overpowering their counsel. It resembled Tyson Fury's corner during his initial altercation with Oleksandr Usyk, except John Fury was the one stirring things up there. Tank was the storm in this instance. Later, Ford thought, "You understand what I mean when I say that I dislike punishments like knockouts? Things must occasionally occur in order to return you to your rightful place." The outcome? Horrible. If the New York State Athletic Commission were to reverse the draw, it might have been worse. Oh, the moment that everyone is still analyzing is the 9th round. After Roach threw a barrage of jabs, Davis turned around and dropped to one knee while blinking frantically. When the count reached 3, referee Steve Willis waved it off as no knockdown and admonished Davis instead. Tank ran to his corner in the middle of the round, and Ford used a towel to wipe his eyes, which potentially might have resulted in his disqualification. "I just got my hair done 2 days ago, and she put grease in it," Davis said after the battle, which was the epitome of Tank. "It burned my eyes and came into contact with my face as I was perspiring. Y'all love me, then hate me, then love me again," he said, dismissing the jeering from the audience. "We will run it back. It's cool. That non-call, though, it's enormous." Roach would have received a 10-8 round if Willis had declared it a knockdown, changing the outcome to a majority decision victory for him. New champion, 2-division glory, and a huge upset. Because of Roach's attorney's insistence on a change, a decision win, a knockout, or a DQ for Davis's corner antics. The New York State Athletic Commission is currently investigating it. If you take a knee in a fight and touch down while punches are being thrown, it has to be a knockdown, said boxing promoter Eddie Hearn, who was unable to watch the fight live because of his own show that evening. However, he doesn't believe the commission will change the outcome since it's too chaotic and too late. A rematch, though. From what I've heard, it's almost finished, Hearn stated. Both fighters want to use Davis's rematch clause. Davis wants to show that he is still that man because Roach's camp is upset about the missed call. What's the matter with Davis, then? This tank wasn't the athletic, patient, and devastating one we're used to. Roach grabbed control and continued to arrive, revealing weaknesses. Davis has faced some difficult opponents, including Mario Barrios in 2023 and Isaac "Pitbull" Cruz in 2021, but this one seemed different. He was never able to get his groove. Lamont's effort was commended by Roach's friend and Davis rival Shakur Stevenson, who even offered himself as Roach's next opponent. However, fans are itching for a rematch with Davis, particularly since Roach caused us to doubt Tank's invincibility. Fast forward to the build-up. Davis arrived at everything crazily late. The weigh-in took 90 minutes, and the kickoff press conference lasted almost 4 hours. Joking about, he played it cool, but in the ring, that looseness became sloppy. On 2 occasions, he looked away from Roach to quarrel with Willis, taking blows in the process. He overruled his corner in between rounds. He seemed strangely indifferent about almost losing his title after the fight. It's fine, but nobody likes a draw from a man who gets knockouts. We need ring girls since I got lost and forgot the rounds. The retirement discussion comes next. He stated to Inside Boxing Live earlier in 2024 that he plans to retire by 2025 and seek rehabilitation in order to be a better father to his girls. He declared, "I want everything for myself so I never think about fighting again." Honorable? Yes. Risky. If his mind isn't in the game, then sure. In contrast, Roach was the unsung hero of the evening. Leaning on his amateur experience with Davis, he put on muscle and fought like a guy possessed. Instead of the "What Happened to Tank" story, he deserved the headlines. His performance was more polished than Cruz's gritty one. Would Roach become arrogant and trip if they ran it back? Will Davis adjust? Tank is a data downloader early in fights, so his ring IQ is underappreciated, but he appeared stalled against Roach. The division of the boxing world. Some claim Davis should have lost, while others claim he was robbed. Tank's stock is collapsing, according to Cambosos. According to Hunter, they prevailed. Ford makes reference to a wake-up call. Regardless of the commission's decision, which is still pending as of March 11, 2025, Hearn anticipates a rematch. Although it would be an uncommon move, nobody is certain if they would call that knee a knockdown retroactively, but the dispute has stoked a fire. The fact is, one bad night doesn't change the fact that Davis is still a superstar. Dynamic and a box office attraction, he has time to recover at the age of 30. However, this battle revealed tactical, mental, and possibly even motivational weaknesses. The fact that Roach was unfazed is now a model. If Davis wants to stay on top, he'll need more than power and charm. He will need to concentrate. Roach sees it as an opportunity to solidify his reputation. When it does, the rematch will reveal their true selves. Until then, as always, boxing keeps us guessing, the commission deliberates, and the discussion rages.